Hello, everyone. Welcome to the book club meeting whereby we are discussing the book Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. This is one of my favorite books to start the year. I've been following the work of Darren Hardy for so many years. This is probably the fourth or the fifth time I read the book because of the book club, but I have heard this audio book many times during over the past several years. I always say that whether a book is a beach book or not, something you can take to the beach. So this particular book is something which you definitely can take to the beach. It is divided into 6 chapters, 160 pages. It will take you around 4 to 5 hours to finish the book. And in a comfortable vacation, you can go through it. You know, you're always retrospecting in a vacation, relaxed environment. Definitely a good book to take to a beach holidays and have a very light but very important messages which is packed in this particular book. Darren Hardy is a strong believer of that slow and steady wins the race. What do we mean by that? We all have heard this famous folk tales of a race between a rabbit and a tortoise. The tortoise always wins in this one. He's slow, he's heavy, he moves much slower than a rabbit. He's much less agile than a rabbit, but still a tortoise wins because of the persistent effort. That's what Darren Hardy is a strong believer of, that if you are willing to put consistent effort over a period of time, you will have your trophy at the end of the race line. And that, my friend, is the central idea of the book Compound Effect, that efforts or investment in yourself or in your family or in your career or in your relationships over a period of time gives you the magical effect of compounding, which is also known as the eighth wonder of the world. What Darren Hardy mentions is that you need to make up in hard work for what you lack in experience, what you lack in talent. But if you're willing to put in that hard work, you can win any race possible and be the market leader in your industry. But for that, you need to preserve time. You need to preserve what you're saying yes to. So, what he also suggests in the first chapter of the book, that you have to be the guy who is comfortable to say no. When you are saying no to something, you're also saying yes to a lot of things. I know in a lot of times when if when somebody approaches us and says, hey, do you want to party over the weekend? Hey, do you want to go for snooker? Why? And it clashes with something you have already prioritized and it is important for your goal, and you overlook that and still go ahead and do that, takes you a step back. So it is very important to protect your time and be very important to say no to some things so that you are saying yes to a lot of things. So what he is saying is that the compound effect is the principle of reaping long-term benefits over a period of time while your investments are small over a period of time. Small, smart choices, consistency over time is the compound effect, is how you will multiply your success. He gives an example of three friends in the first chapter of the book, whereby he says three friends identical in all the ways. One of them decides to read 30 pages a day. He also decides to cut 125 calories from his food. The second one does not change anything in the lifestyle, whereas the third one decides to increase 125 calories every day, which is nothing. Watches television for 30 minutes a day, in addition to what the normal lifestyle of these three individuals is. In 1 month, you will observe that there is no change at all in all three of them. They are equally fit, equally capable of doing things. All their relationships, all their career projections are absolutely same. In 2 months, there will be no difference. In 6 months, there will be slight marginal change, which people who are very close to them may observe. In 1 year, their larger friend circles will start to notice the difference between these three individuals. At the end of 3 years, there will be a remarkable difference between these three individuals. So if you look at this example, what happened? Three individuals, same at the beginning, just made marginal changes in their lifestyle. And over a period of time, the first individual who started to read 30 pages a day, cut 125 calories every day in his food intake, was much fitter, was doing fantastic in the career. The second guy who didn't change any lifestyle was at the same position, earning the same money, same amount of it. Whereas the third guy who was watching a lot of television over a period of these 3 years was eating slightly more, had put on additional weight to his body, had put in so much of garbage in his mind, had put in so much of news in his mind, which is not very essential to day-to-day activities, that over a period of time, there was a remarkable difference between these three individuals, which even their wider society or friends started to observe. So that is the central idea of this particular book, whereby Darren Hardy says that small, consistent effort over a period of time results in compounding. It can be both up or down, whether you have deciding to watch 15 minutes of reels every day, of these TikTok or shorts every day. Over a period of time, it will have an effect. With this, we move on to the second chapter in the book, which talks about choices. Darren Hardy says, when we are born, we are all same. We are naked, scared, and don't have a clue about the world. Over a period of time, initially, our parents, the choices they make, and gradually the choices which we make us the individual which we are today. Choices, however so small, shape us as individuals over a period of time. What Darren Hardy also says in this particular chapter about choices is that elephants don't bite. It's only the smallest of the mosquitoes which bite, implying that it is not that a huge event may happen which may lead to your success in one go, or it may not happen that a small or a huge event may even make your downfall. It is those small teeny tiny changes which and choices which you are making every day over a period of time will result in something very significant. So that's what he mentions in the second chapter, is that life which we end up with is simply the accumulation of all the choices we have made in the time which we have had. We made a choice to go to the library. We made a choice to go to the gym. We made a choice to hang out with good friends. Over a period of time, all these choices will accumulate and result in the individual which you are. All the choices which you have made have led you to be the person you are today. So anything or everything which is happening in your life is 100% your choice. If you have chose to read a book, if you chose to eat unhealthy food, if you chose to hang out with not so good friends, it's all the choices which you are making. If your relationship is getting a little bit sour, if you're not doing very well in your career, it may not be the economy to blame. It may not be your partner to blame. Darren Hardy in the second chapter mentions that everything in your life is 100% your responsibility because I'll tell you why. And you may argue that, some things, sometimes bad things happen. Bad things do happen in life, but there is an action and then there is a reaction to it. Once you say that everything in your life which is happening or has happened is 100% your ownership, that is the moment when you are giving power to yourself. And once on the flip side, if you say that, oh, it is not my responsibility, you are immediately giving the power to somebody else. So that is the central idea of the chapter 2, which is about choices. The third chapter goes on to say is that the formula of luck is basically preparation plus attitude is how you think towards it, basically your mindset, plus opportunity and action is what luck is. So in simply terms, your personal growth depends upon your mindset and good things which are coming your way and how you are grabbing it with your own preparation. And that is basically the golden formula of luck. So if you want to be lucky in your life, have a good growth mindset, prepare in advance so that when the opportunity presents itself, you are ready to grab it with both hands. Do not wait for individuals to come and serve you things in silver platter. It may happen down the line, but in the beginning, be ready, be prepared. If you want to work for a huge technology giant, start learning about the technology so that once an opportunity comes, you already know about the subject matters. That's how luck is defined. And if you want to be lucky, have a growth mindset and be ready to put in number of hours. In the third chapter, which is called as habits, the author gives a very nice example. It's one of my personal favorite, that a teacher and a student are in a garden whereby the teacher asks the student to just uproot a small weed in the ground. The student just pulls it out with no to little effort. The teacher then says, you see that small plant? Pluck it out from the garden. The student applies a little bit of effort, and with some difficulty, the student does manage to take it out of the ground as well. In the third attempt, the teacher points to a tree and says, pluck it out from the garden. The teacher has now presented a case to the student, which the student is completely bewildered to see. The student simply shrugs the shoulders and says to the teacher that it is practically impossible to uproot such an old tree from the ground. That's a time when the teacher says that now you have understood that what habits can do to an individual over a period of time. Small habits in the beginning phase are easily to uproot. But if they have been established over years and years and decades, it is equally difficult to pull them out of the ground. And it goes the other way around also. So if you have good habits, for example, wake up early in the morning, reading, investing in your relationships, these habits are equally easy to develop with small consistent efforts over a period of time. And once it has flourished into this huge tree, nobody can uproot it out. The author also highlights in this chapter the impact of cause and effect. What he means that if any day anyone would smoke a cigarette and immediately gets lung cancer, nobody would ever smoke. If by watching 15 minutes of reels, anyone is losing their career, nobody will watch the reel. Because the impact of these things is not immediate. The impact is in distant future. Nobody is able to track the impact of these small bad habits which are happening in your life. Likewise, so if you are getting up early in the morning, prioritizing your day better, reading 30 pages every day, nobody will be on the top of their career by the end of the day. But definitely by the end of 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, they will be the leaders in their industry. That is what Darren Hardy highlights in chapter number 3, which is about habits, that the choices which you are making results in your behavior. And this behavior over a period of time converts into a habit, which over a period of time compound into the life of your dreams. The author highlights here is that to develop good habits, make things easier for you. If you want to wake up early, put an alarm clock near to your bed. If you don't want to watch unnecessary reels and TikToks, delete all these applications from your mobile phone. If you want to start running in the morning, keep a pair of shoes just next to your bed so that once you get up, they are just right there, ready for you. There is no inertia for you to jump into these activities immediately. With this, the author moves on to the 4th chapter, which is momentum. The author says here, the big mo here does not stand for momentum. The author says here, the big mo does not stand for motivation, but the momentum. That the law of inertia, author explores here, is what he says is that a body will continue to be in a state of rest or motion unless acted upon by some external force. So if you have developed a habit and you are in the momentum, you cannot stop until something happens. Or if you are not in a habit of doing something and you want to develop, you need a significant change. You need a significant push, a significant force to move you out of that inertia. That's the central idea of this particular chapter, which is on momentum. And to highlight this, he gives one of my all-time favorite examples of the launch of a rocket ship. Do you know that once a rocket ship is launched, in the first 10 minutes of its launch, it will burn more than 90% of the fuel of what it will consume over the lifetime? In the first 10 minutes, what it means for you and me and everybody is that in the beginning, it will take tremendous amount of effort. 90% of the effort will be consumed in the beginning itself, and in the rest, it is just 10%. 99.99% of the people will give up in this 10 minutes only. Only the marginal few know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, who know that the initial part is the most difficult, and afterwards it's glory and victory and the life of your dreams. That's the central idea of chapter 4 about momentum. To get into the rhythm of life, to win the race, even if you are a tortoise, with small, consistent efforts over a period of time. He moves on to chapter 5, where he says influences. Everything around you will influence you. It can be inputs, which are direct, it can be associations, which are indirect, and the third is environment, which is everything what is surrounding you. Inputs can be something which you directly feed into your mind, the conversations with your friend, the reading which you are doing, the videos you are watching. Association means the people you are spending time with, the groups you are going and hanging out with, and the environment is everything in your surrounding. Like nutrients are essential for your physical body, good thoughts, good information is equally nutritive for your mind. But if you feed TikTok videos, if you feed shorts, crappy videos to your mind, it's as simple as garbage in, garbage out. The mind will get roasted over a period of time. Just have this simple understanding of what is mind made to do. The mind is not made to do and make you conquer the world by being the AI expert, or know everything about engineering or architecture. That's not the main job of the mind. The main purpose of your human mind is survival. So the mind thinks like that. In primitive years, when humans were living in caves, if there was a flower or a bee buzzing or a sparrow tweeting, the mind will not pay a lot of attention to it. But if there is the slightest roar in the background, if there is a lot of rustle in the bushes, the mind will immediately pay attention. That's what the mind does when it finds news. Media houses know it exactly, that bad news sells, bad information gets attention. That's why you see all these breaking news everywhere, and everybody is attracted towards such information, because that's how the human brain has evolved over a period of time. We are drawn towards bad information because our brain thinks that it's essential for our survival to know. My advice, and what Darren Hardy says in the book Compound Effect, is if your job is not to be associated with the news, if you are not directly impacted in terms of your job is to read news or convey news, 99% news in the world is of no use to you. And the information or the news which is useful to you, anyways, will be communicated through friends or discussions happening in the society. That's a very powerful idea, to filter your mind, to be at the gate of your mind, to safeguard what goes inside your mind is very, very, very important, especially in this day and age when media and mobile phones have made it so easy for everything to be reached to thousands of people with just one single tweet. So it is our responsibility to choose wisely what we are selecting to let in our brains. We have to be aware of not only our physical environment, but also the virtual environment in this day and age. So that is the central idea of chapter 5. Now we move on to the last chapter of the book, which is about acceleration. In this chapter, author says that once you have built the habit, once you have structured everything around you, you are hanging out with good people, you are going to gym, you are reading, you are aligned to your goals. Now is the time to think big. Go beyond your imagination in terms of what you can achieve. A lot of us, I will go on and even say that 90% of human beings overestimate what can be completed in a day and underestimate what can be completed in a year. What I mean by that, on day one, if you're evaluating 100 candidates, everybody will show up. Over a period of time, people will start dropping. On the 100th day, very few, handful will be out there, because these are the people who know that over a period of time, small consistent efforts lead into glory, lead into success. So don't wish that the life should have been a little bit easier. Wish that you could be a little bit more stronger. And friends, always remember, whatever doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. So be out there, go the extra mile, do little consistent effort over a period of time, be the tortoise, and win the race of your life. That was the book of the month, Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you next month. Bye bye.